Today's been pretty dour outside, so yeah, it's been really cold in the flat, so I spent most of my day on the laptop in my bed because I might as well work where it's cozy. I kind of decided that I wanted to work on colour palettes, like today, tomorrow, maybe a bit on Wednesday, and solidify the colours that I want to use. I kind of have the idea that I'm going to be using natural fibres for new knits, because I prefer the way they feel personally, and the way they wash, and they just, yeah, I just feel like they're the better choice, especially for my project, and just because I like them better, which is fine. So yeah, I did a few colour palettes. I'll show you here. One of them is kind of inspired by art from Tracy Emin, which was very like instant, emotional, kind of raw feeling, and it relates a lot to the stuff that I've been doing previously. The second one is more like traditional, feminine, floral kind of ideas. I don't think I'm going to run with that one, but some of my research was kind of pointing towards it, so I thought I would collate it together and see what it looked like. I don't really like it that much, especially for this project, so I think I'm just going to leave that one. And the third one is looking more at the idea of being really exposed, a lot of nudes and neutrals and skin tones, but it's also still very warm. And I really like that one. I quite like that one. So it's currently between the first and the third one. I'm going to do some tomorrow, and I'm going to source some yarns. I've been looking at JC Rennie because I know them and they're really local, which is good. Support local. And also like Uppingham's, because they're not cheap, but for a project like this, they're like the kind of cheapest source. And they're also British, so that's good. And I know that like I can get British yarns from them. Another thing that I'm wondering is if I should be doing like informational videos. So for like people in the course, like earlier years and things like that, like I was thinking of doing a video on my current project, but also how I came to the decision to do that as a project, how I put together my Pecha Kucha and like delivered it, kind of strategies for development, like looking on WGSN and colours and colour theory and things like that. Like I know we get taught a lot of this at uni, but also a lot of it is just left for you to do it. And something that I feel is lacking in the course is like they never actually teach you how to develop your knitwear or your knit samples. Like it's really difficult to do that without having a knitting machine or being on the knitting machines, which is going to be really difficult this year. So I kind of wanted to put forward a few like strategies. I don't know if it would be helpful though, so I thought I would just ask, but I think it might be helpful to people. So yeah, that was just a quick question that I wanted to ask while I'm editing this on Monday night. You know when you're having just one of those weeks where like everything's kind of just a hit and keeps hitting? I'm having one of those weeks. I heard back about my knitting machine, which is currently getting serviced at David Drummond's in Edinburgh. And so he called me today and told me that everything will be okay. The computer unit is broken, so I need to replace that. And the options were, one, to replace it with a KH950 second-hand unit, which would cost me £499, which would mean it would restore it to its full capabilities. Or option two was to put in a KH950i computer unit that would cost me £899, but it would upgrade it to be on par with the best domestic knitting machine ever made. But the answer is I simply can't afford that, because then I wouldn't be able to pay my rent. So I'm willing to pay that £500 to fix my knitting machine because it will restore it to its full capabilities, and that's what I need it to do. That's the reason I sent it down in the first place. So yeah, and he guaranteed me that it would come back in like 100% working order, and it should be finished in 2 weeks. So I'm really excited about that. I get my knitting machine back and I can start working on a hat collection that I'm planning for winter. I was going to buy myself a new pair of docks yesterday, but I already have a pair of docks, but they're just really hard. Like, I've had them for 5 years and they've been really hard to break in. They still hurt my feet, and I was going to buy a new pair, but ended up not, thanks to Marty and to Alistair for kind of convincing me that I should just break them in, which is kind of good because then I would have £100 less to spend on my knitting machine, which is like maybe it's about £100 more than I was expecting, but it just means I need to break in my old docks and not buy myself a pair of new docks, which I was going to do, but I guess I'm just not going to do that now, which I'm fine with. Like, as far as the project's going, like, it wasn't really going yesterday. Yesterday was a CCS day, so I kind of like was analysing data from the returns from my survey, but I still need to like solidify that. Need to solidify my key sources and just like work on reading and writing. So that's fun. Studio work isn't really going yet because of all the palaver about this morning. It was kind of a shock, and that took me aback a little bit.
I forgot my self-direction proposal is due on Friday, so I'm gonna do that today, even though I'm supposed to be doing CCS, but whatever.
It's Friday morning. I have a tutorial in about 5 minutes, and I'm not feeling too great about it, but we're gonna do it anyway, and we're gonna see what happens. So the rest of Friday I just completed a couple of orders. This whole week for me has been quite slow and really tiring and just draining. I wasn't feeling very creative. I wasn't feeling very well either. Like, period pains hit pretty bad midway through the week. And I just struggled to kind of find a place to start, and I feel like that happens to everyone at this point in the project. It's so big and scary. There's so many avenues you could take. You don't know which one's the correct one, so you just don't do anything. But I need to pull myself out of that and kind of just start doing things. So that's going to be my aim for next week, is to actually make physical progress. What you're seeing me do here is it's just a blanket I've got that was absolutely wrecked. I got it in a charity shop for a tenner, and it's a beautiful, beautiful blanket, but it's got all these holes in it that a mouse is like bitten in. So I decided I was going to take it and practice darning on it, and that's basically what I've been using to learn darning. So that's what the rest of this video is. If anyone has any suggestions of kind of things they want me to cover or just talk about, or if they feel anxious about anything and just want to know that other people are exactly the same, like, just let me know.